Howdy folks, I'm Rebecca Jolly, the Jolly Alchemist, here with a transit report for the 3rd of February, and also some updates and information. Who knows? I don't know what I'm going to say. Let's see. So, we have just passed from the left angle cross of refinement on the 1st of February. On that day, it was one of those ones where I joined 2 into 1, so I was covering 19, 5, and 6, and 33, 5, and 6, with an underlying energy of gates 1 and 2. So let me show you what we're looking at there. 19 is right here, needs of the community, and 33 is right up. Let's see, get my directions correct here. Yeah, right there. So that's privacy, aloneness, and also has to do with listening and empathy. Just a sec, let me double check here. Yeah. And just to give you an overview on those, 19.5 was sacrifice, 19.6 was reclusiveness, 33.5 was timing, and 33.6 is disassociation. The ability to let go and retreat is what that disassociation is, which I also actually carry an activation of, and that's part of this channel that I have here. So, yesterday we moved into, just a sec, refinement. That cross is the very last cross of the Chinese New Year and also of the Human Design New Year, Old Year. So yesterday we moved into the new year in terms of Human Design, where we hit 13 and 7-1. And I thought the Human Design New Year was, or the Chinese New Year was happening on the 4th of February. That might actually be, but something all around here is where we're having the shift. So I thought, well, let's make a note of it. Let's look at these energies just a little bit, and then I can talk about what's going on with me, because I do have some exciting things happening. So, yes, 13.1 and 7.1 started yesterday. 13.1 is empathy, openness to listening to others with empathy, and 7.1, okay, so 13 is the other side of that 33. This is from the G center side. So this gate is about listening to others, hearing secrets, looking at the past, learning lessons from the past that can help us in the future. But it's definitely a backward-looking gate. It's looking into the past. It's looking into what already happened. And then to contrast with that, we have 7 on the other side of the G center. So these two gates form 2 of the directions that are going on in the G center. The G center being the center of direction and of love. So we have 4 love gates and 4 direction gates. And the reason we start off with the Sphinx is because at the beginning of every new year, we're looking around in all the directions. What is going on? So then we have backwards happening at 13. We have forwards happening at 7. 7.1 is the authoritarian, the capacity to guide with authority. I have a daughter with that activation, I believe. Over here where you can't see it, doesn't matter anyway. But so those are those 2 gates, and then the 1 and 2, those would have been what anyone born yesterday or today would have, and tomorrow, as the underlying energy for their gates. That would be their unconscious activations. They would be having activations in gate 1 and in gate 2, which are the other directions. So as far as directions go all together, we have looking backwards, we have looking forwards, we have looking out, since gate 1 is the most yang, the most creative, the most outward focusing, and gate 2 the most inward focusing, the most receptive, magnetic, and actually Ra called it manifesting. The second is the strongest in manifesting because it's actually pulling into it what is meant for it. So, very interesting. I don't have a second gate activation, as you can see. I have a 46, which is love of the body and the temple and being in the right time in the right place. So the exact nature of what it's like to carry that second gate energy, I'm not sure, but I do see in other people who have it this sort of combination of super, super softness with very assertive outgoingness in their personalities at the same time. So that's what we're looking at: in, out, forward, and backward. So that's what's happening with the Sphinx. We're also moving through quite a bit of 49th gate activations. That's nice. So 49 is here on the other side of the 19, which means that between the 19 and the 49, we are creating this channel of the regulator. This is the channel of revolution. This is the channel of looking at the needs of the community. I need stepping out, making themselves known. And if their needs aren't being met, then the system needs to change. Something needs to happen. Something needs to break. That's where the revolution or the divorce or the sacrifice is happening. And of course, this channel is in large part about food, because the people will have a tendency to stay stable and not move into revolution until they're getting hungry, which makes it kind of interesting because I realize that lots of people now are squealing with the feeling because their food is being clamped down on. Food prices are going up. I mean, all the prices are going up, but the food prices is where people are really, really feeling it. And I myself have noticed, since I've just started going shopping again. I came out of Costco with a bill of over $300 and I hadn't gotten that much. And I thought, wow, okay, that is really, really making a shift there. I see that thing happening. And I also see why that would make people worried, upset, having problems. But again, I have to say, look, politics are personal. I don't give a shit what's happening at the top of the pile. I only care what's happening at the bottom of the pile. And who's at the bottom of the pile? Me and you. So what's happening with us is truly the important thing, not anything that's happening up with these talking heads and blah blah. They look and they feel so important. No, they don't. That's a circus. That's a distraction in so many ways. And it's not really what's going on. What's really going on is, of course, yes, we have the old system dying, new system coming online, getting ready to 1 year left, woohoo! And people really being faced with a lot of contrast and a lot of incentive to look at their lives and say, okay, it's time to make a change. It's time to do something different. What are we going to do about that? Are we going to change ourselves, or are we going to continue to work under a fear-based system? And I say most definitely, let's not be in a fear-based system, because that sucks. That feels bad. It's not efficient. It's high entropy, and it's in all ways not good. The whole universe, history, the planet, everything is conspiring to show us that, come on, people, the way is love. Yes, it hurts to bite the bullet and admit, I was wrong, I didn't understand things, I was fucked up, I hurt people. Yeah. And yeah, but all we have to do is be willing to do that. I think that many of us live in fear of our emotions. And that, of course, might also speak to the fact that half of us are emotionally undefined, and emotions are very overwhelming. I'm one of those people as well. But as I'm learning about my emotions and learning about my design, I'm starting to realize that's not the end of the world. That's not that big of a deal. The worst thing that happens, recently I had a whole reorganization of my inner world, and I called it, with the help of my dear friend and emotional surgeon, is one way to look at it, Sandy. I called it fondly taking a cheese grater to my ego, and I had to realize the definition that I have had of love for so many years and so long is not actually helping me. It's not serving me. This idea of love being having something to do with unconditionality. And I realized there is no such thing as unconditionality, not with our children, not with our parents, not with our lovers, not with our friends, nobody. That was a bitter pill to swallow. But once I sobbed about that for 90 seconds, because that's what we're looking at, neuroscience is telling us now, we're only ever truly in an emotion itself for 90 seconds. So that's all we have to hold on to, that feeling, and then it will naturally pass on. And if you're holding a feeling longer than that, that's because your thought processes are encouraging that and running in patterns that are not necessarily useful to you. So 90 seconds is all we have to hold that. And then we can go on and say, okay, well, what's the next emotion? What's the next feeling? What's the next thing for me to understand and come to terms with? And we can move on. So I always told my daughter, the one who really traditionally has refused to look at things. They take turns, my daughters, not looking at things and growing. It's very interesting to see. But anyway, you can have your hard work right here at the beginning and then grow up and have things go much better. So it makes a scale of hardness. It goes, oh, it's hard at the beginning, but then it gets much, much, much easier. Yeah. Or you can avoid it, and it just keeps getting harder and harder and harder and harder until you're forced to it. By something horrible happening, by it coming into your body, by getting cancer, by having bad things happen to you. And then what have you done? How have you lived that whole portion of your life? It sucked. There's my point. If you just bite the bullet and grow up and look at the places where you've taken on things that are not useful for you, you have self-talk that's not useful for you, re-examine those things and start to consciously program yourself with more helpful kinds of thought patterns and belief systems, then things can start to actually come online. And that, I think, is where the enormous skills of my friend Sandy come in. We have been doing some live streams. She is awesome for helping to narrow in and find, those spots where you're thinking isn't exactly right. You're thinking that you're a victim, it's somebody else is doing something to you, but actually that's a you problem. She loves to say that. That's a you problem. I'm like, oh, damn it. All right, fine. But she definitely makes it easy. She makes a sweet resting spot where she can say, hey, yeah, you were fucked up about this one. Sorry, but just accept it. Move on. Here's maybe an idea of how that might work better for you. And then you can start to reorganize all the things in your brain with this new information and actually get life to start working better for you. And that's really what we want. We all want life to start working better for us. And the information that we get about how to do that from Humun Design, it's just a trick. It's just some tips. It's a hack. It's an assistance. Yeah, but there's assistance in lots and lots of places if you're really looking for it nowadays. So, yeah, there it is. On the personal front, and I will look at here at 13.2, actually today's energy, if you give a care. I don't know that you do. It's not that big of a deal. But anyway, first me. I started this last weekend with a class in hand analysis, or palm reading as it's been known for many moons. And so I'm starting to look at my hand and see, okay, what are all the things that mean the things, and what are all the clues, because it's just another aspect of as above, so below. We are broadcasting to the world all the time who we really are, what our issues are, what's going on underneath. You can see it in the irises of the eyes. You can see it in the conformation of the tongue. I see things in there. So that's one of the things I learned about the tongue, is that when the tongue goes ka-clunk, ka-clunk, ka-clunk around the shapes of the teeth, that means there's some kind of vitamin, not a mineral deficiency. But I think I'm actually starting to take care of that with some of the tricks I've been doing. Anyway, the hand. It completely talks about exactly what the issues are, our history, the things that are right now affecting us. And my teacher, Leslie Zemenek, excellent boy. She's been reading hands for 30 years or so, so very, very knowledgeable about the subject. An extremely interesting class that's just like weighing down my brain with all this information and making it explode, because what I get out of hand analysis that I don't get out of human design is exactly how is it going, because when she looks at my hand, she talks about all the same exact issues that I'm seeing here, but she says, yeah, and here's how you're doing on it, you know. For instance, she looks at the fact that my palm here, you can see how it kind of turns blue on this side here. She says that means that I am in very great need of relaxation and escape and fun and good time, self-care, all that sort of thing. And I was like, yeah, I know that. And she's like, yeah, well, you absolutely need on that. That's a big important sign that you need to take care of yourself. And as soon as I take care of that, I will start to see this area of my hand pink back up again. So it's a nice feedback loop, I think. So I'm very interested in all the things that are going on. Anyone who comes to see me now is getting some free hand reading, because I'm looking at their hands and seeing all the interesting things going on in them. And next week I will learn how to take prints of hands so that people can come and get hand readings from me long distance. Of course, that the cost for that will be little to nothing here in the beginning, because I'm just trying to drink in as many examples as I can. And well, you'll get a crappy hand reading. That's awesome. That's good. I'm a 3-5, so I learned by making those mistakes. So I need people to make those mistakes with. So if you're interested in getting a really shitty handwriting, you let me know, because it won't cost you anything. And you might learn something new. I'll definitely learn probably more than you from just looking at the hand and starting to make these interpretations for myself, because a lot of what you're looking at in the hand seems to be interpretive. There's issues there, but you don't know exactly how it is that they're falling out in the life. And I'm, wondering these things for myself, like, oh, okay, if I've been like not following my path and pleasing people instead of doing my own will, which of course we see that in human design, because my wound in design is to submit to the will of others rather than myself. Well, what do you know? You see that right there on my hand with this line branching right off the heart line. Okay, it's interesting to see that, to try to think of how that's happening, how I can change that, affect that. And it's absolutely true, just like in Chinese astrology, that we can change over time the conformation of our hands, as well as our faces, as well as our eyes, our feet, our tongues, everything, by upgrading ourselves, by working on what's actually needing work, by listening to the signs of the universe and becoming more sensitive to what's going on there. I'm learning all kinds of things. For instance, I've been wanting to start to train corvids, birds, the real ones, not the homeless people, which I call ravens. The crows, they're crows. They all come every day. They pass by here in their migrations, journeys, whatever. It's a year. It happens all the time, all year round. I've been wanting to train them or start training them for years. Passive training, like ARC, yeah? So you feed them. But it just kept on not happening, not being the time. I just kept on feeling like, no, I want it done, but I can't do it, so no. And then I was just walking outside and, looking at flowers, looking at the garden beds, picking up the occasional piece of trash on the sidewalk. And all of a sudden, all the pieces for training the birds came together at once. And I was just like, oh, okay. Well, if I hadn't already been doing enough of my homework to see that the universe was definitely sending me a message, I would have totally missed that. I wouldn't have been doing that. I wouldn't have these birds out here every day going, okay, lady, let's work this, let's bond this, let's come together, because they are absolutely entering into a conversation with me. They don't want to eat chia seeds, damn it. And it's interesting because my partner is upstairs right now going through all these foods that we've had upstairs sitting on shelves we didn't really have access to very much. And so he's finding all this food that's stale or bugs have gotten into it, and I would eat it if I was hard up, but I'm not that hard up. So I'm trying to find a way to feed chia seeds to crows. And it turns out the crows around here are not actually starving. So that's good news. But the bad part of it is that only want to eat potato chips and junk food. That's not good for your babies. So I'm trying to figure out a way to outsmart them. I'm thinking I'm going to have to make it into like a cornbread kind of thing, because they really want something they can pick up easily. They want a chunk. When I was in Olympia recently on my walkabout, I had these shelled peanuts. So peanuts in their shells, nice and salty. And I saw the crows, they would come down when I was feeding them, and the smart ones try very hard to pick up more than one peanut at the same time. So they pick up one, they carry it over to another one, they open their beak extra wide, they get two, then they get greedy and they go over, they're going to try to pick up three. But three never works right. It's so hilarious watching them try. So they try, finally they just give up, and they go away with their beaks like extra wide, holding two peanuts. I tried to catch a picture of it, but it just didn't happen. But it was really fascinating to see their smarts, to see them strategizing about the whole thing and thinking, can I get a little bit more of this yummy, yummy peanut? It was great fun. So I have the hand thing going on. I have Corvid training going on. I have people coming to see me. I have some regular appointments. I'm also working with Nate on the app and putting that together. It is amazing how little actual programming time results in something that's starting to be actually functional. Blowing my mind. I'm completely a neophyte in that area of the thing, but my knowledge from this side and Nate's knowledge of the programming from that side are coming together, and I'm very, very excited because I'm really wanting to share something with the world, an app that will help people get information about their designs and have all the basic information available for free. That's what I want. I really, really want to be able to give away a ton of this information for free that is not currently being offered for free nowhere, not even in 64 Keys. Now, 64 Keys is doing a great job as far as it goes, but that's an Austrian program, and so it's originally written in German, so the English is in translation. The translations are okay, but sometimes not my favorite, and there are a lot more features on the app that I would like to have. So I'm thinking about, how I use the program, how I would like it structured, how I would like things to change, everything to be just so. The training of an AI based on all the information that I've ever given in my transit reports and videos, brought together, organized, and made available to people to be able to actually search well and to find useful information, to be able to understand a lot of these basics without me. That's really what I want, for you guys to be able to learn and understand the basics of design by yourselves, so that when you come to me, you're wanting something that's more in depth, more detailed, something that only a human can do, not an AI. That's what I'm wanting. I'm wanting the things that can be given to AI to be given to AI, and the things that are actually interesting and fun and groovy for me as a deep down kind of analyst or reader or researcher into people's designs, then come to me. Yes, yes, yes. And let's play. And we can also play with Chinese astrology and face reading and hand reading and talking about how all these ideas come together. And I recently saw on TikTok, it wasn't TikTok, it was Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. Instagram. A video from some guy. I don't listen to names, so, whatever. I'm sure if you're there, you've probably seen him as well, saying, "Women, take over. I'm willing to help you however I can." And I say, well, come on and see me, because if you're willing to be part of the solution, I absolutely can help you figure out a really, really good way for you to join in and make your voice heard in a way that really matters, because I don't actually believe that our voices matter that much when we're standing in a picket line. I think our voices matter when we're standing at the cash register. Our voices matter when we're actually doing our own homework, because every single one of us that raises our vibration individually is raising the collective vibration. That is not only the best thing we can do, it's the only thing we can do. So let's start to do it, because if you're feeling crunched at the grocery store, or if you're feeling crunched like you're a wage slave and you're overworked and you're exhausted and you're trying to make things work that really, really aren't working inside of you, really aren't making you happy, really aren't giving you a feeling in the morning when you wake up of, yes, another day. Yes, I get to go out and play and do good stuff. I love that. If you're not feeling that, you're not doing something right. That's the way it is. So I've spent enough days feeling that way. And what I've been learning from looking at my hands is that I need to shine. I need to be the brightest light in my universe, is basically what it is. I have a gift marking on one of my hands. Let's see, it's this one here, I believe. Wait a second. Well, whichever one it is. It's on my Apollo. Oh, that's what it is. It's right here. It's on this hand. That's all about having the need to speak, to shine, to be bright, to share my light and my gifts with others. And that is exactly what I am trying to do through this particular video, through my YouTube channel, and through my website. Come on, people. Let's not make this about money. It's not as much about buying groceries, although at some point I do have to buy groceries just like everybody else. It's much more about, let's come together. Let's figure out how to rise up. Let's figure out how to be actually deeply satisfied, deeply successful, deeply joyful, deeply peaceful in our lives, and be to living in our potential. And if you're not figuring out how to do that, and you want help with that, throw me a line. I'm a human. I'm not somebody who's out there trying to hawk products. I'm a real person trying to grow up myself, trying to help other people grow up, and really trying to change the system. I am a revolutionary, and I am here to explain in a scientific way that revolution. So if you're wanting to know what the new thing is and how to come into your potential, but you don't feel like you have the money, don't even worry about it. Talk to me. We'll figure something out. We'll find a way. We'll make the time. We'll make the way. But you're not going to get any help if you don't speak up. So come see me on my website. Send me an email. Drop me a line. Make a comment. Ask a question. Let's engage. I am here to help. So there it is. I'll quickly tell you what's going on today. Today's energy is 13.2 with a down arrow on it. 13 is openness, tolerance. Openness through the tolerance of others. Okay, cool. Here I am being tolerant. And a little bit of a down arrow. Hypocritical openness that abuses ideals based on a feeling of superiority in order to discriminate against other people and groups. Well, I am definitely not doing that. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit if you're a king or a pauper. Anybody is welcome, even assholes. How tolerant is that? And on the other side, we have 7-2, the democratic, the capacity to lead when democratically authorized. How lovely, with a warning about overreaching ourselves in the moon to say yes, even if there aren't sufficient resources. Well, at this point, I do have sufficient resources. So I certainly wouldn't have sufficient resources if, say, 100 people came to me, but 100 people aren't coming to me. So you have an opportunity if you want to be one of the special ones. It's just the way it is right now. 49.5, reform, the organization of necessary reforms. That is exactly what I'm about now, organizing the reforms, the revolution. And attraction, revolutionary attraction that finds support. Good, let's do this thing. And service, making personal resources available for use. Isn't that what I just said? So there it is in the transit, folks. You take care of yourselves. I hope you're trying to use whatever modality or whatever tools you have to get to a better place for yourselves, just like I am. Let's do it together. Come on and see me. Until then, ciao.